going on? Welcome to Creator Factor with another segment of Creator to Creator. I'm the host who loves you the most, Ozeal. And if you don't know, this is a podcast for business-minded creators who value community, collaboration, and building a brand of impact and influence. But before we begin, we do have a sponsor, y'all. And I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Riverside.fm. And let me tell you about Riverside. This is my Swiss Army knife for all things content creation, whether I'm recording talking head videos or hosting interviews like this. Riverside Studio makes it easy to collaborate with just one click. Riverside also allows you to locally record separate audio and video tracks, giving me the highest quality every time. And now they have AI tools, y'all, where it's like they give you AI-generated show notes, transcripts, and text-based editing, which is my personal favorite. And of course, they also have Magic Clips, which allows you to share highlighted clips of every interview. So if you're a content creator, Riverside.fm is the studio for you. Highly recommend you check it out. Click in the show notes for an exclusive 15% discount off any plan today. And now, housekeeping is done. Let's have some fun. Have an amazing guest in the building today. Actually, here's some context, my creator friend. I stumbled upon a YouTube short, loved her vibe instantly. And this doesn't happen, all right? This doesn't normally happen. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot. I'm going to email her and see if she would be on the podcast, Creator to Create. I feel like it's a perfect fit, right? And she replied and said, let's make it happen. And she said yes. And here she is. She's a lifestyle influencer, a digital entrepreneur who's built a community around travel, wellness, and personal growth. Her content is a mix of like practical wellness tips, travel adventures, and it's just some really powerful personal insights that she shares on her YouTube channel. She's a content creator all about empowering her audience to embrace life fully, explore the world, and find balance along the way. A mindful content creator. Ladies and gents, let's welcome to Creator on Creator Factor, Tori Royelle in the building. Tori, good to finally virtually meet you, my friend.
Nice to meet you as well. I'm really excited.
How you mentioned that you're in Cleveland, Ohio. Are you originally from Cleveland, Ohio? Or?
I lived in San Francisco for 3 years, and I just moved back here in April. So, yeah.
How does it feel to be back home?
It's interesting. It's been a journey. It's, I wish we can talk about more, but I quit my 9-to-5 job in San Francisco in April, and so I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go next. So this is home base. It's like hiatus where we regroup and figure out where we're going next. So that's why I'm here. I'm not planning on staying here too long term, but it's nice to be, around my family and just regroup. It's always like a very grounding space. So
Yeah. Sometimes we need that in life, right? To just kind of get back to home base, to kind of hit that reset and get grounded again. I'm all for that. I wanted to ask, I was curious because, and I'm going to mention this to our audience, that I stumbled upon this YouTube video. And it was a video that you did, and it was a 12-week year where you were breaking down the calendar, right? So what ended up happening was I finished reading the book. A friend of mine recommended the book, and somebody, it was on my to-read list for a long time. Like I've been wanting to read this book, and a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, was like, yo, you got to read this book. Like, this is the end of the year. I think this is the book to kind of get you set up ready for next year. I'm like, all right. So I read it. I read it pretty quickly too. I was just so like in love with the book, read it, and was so pumped up about it. I was like, all right, this is great. This is the strategy. And then I was going down the YouTube rabbit hole of just seeing what other people were sharing about the book and their experiences. And I stumbled upon your short, and I loved it. You broke down a calendar. We'll make sure that we link it up. You broke down how your process of the calendar and how you were going to experiment with this. After that, I've been kind of going in a different direction. So I'm curious to know, have you stuck with the 12-week year? Where is it at in your whole strategy as a content creator? Is it working or is it not?
I do feel like it helped me a lot. However, this last couple of months, I haven't been using it. I think the principle stuck with me. of just putting it in smaller increments and stop having these goals that feel so far away and unattainable. So I've kept those principles with me, but as far as the physical calendar, I have not been using it as much. I've been moving around a lot.
Like the scoring and all that. Are you not doing none of that? Are you doing that now? No, yeah, that went out the window.
I love those principles. Like make these smaller attainable goals. I do that all the time now. Just instead
Yeah.
of putting it on a giant poster board, I'm writing it like in a journal or just in my notes of like, okay, this is how much, let's say, money I want to make by this date. These are the steps I'm going to take to get there. And yeah, it works so much better than having these goals that feel like you can't reach them.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because that's one thing that, and I really want to have the context for this particular conversation. I feel like you're a very mindful creator. Lifestyle is a priority, and I think that's what resonated with me. I know a lot of content creators, we're business minded, right? We want to make money off our platform, but we're very lifestyle forward. We want to create a lifestyle of freedom, of flexibility, of fun, of doing the things that bring us joy. And that's the thing that resonated when I was going down your list of videos. I was like, like that's my girl. Like she gets it. That's the type of creator that I'm aligned with. There's a lot of things that happen in your life, and I'm curious to know because I went through a transition as a creative entrepreneur. You mentioned that you quit your job.
Mm-hmm.
Let's dive into that. Like, talk to us about like what was that transition like? Because I think for creators that are watching or listening, that's the goal is to
Right.
transition and to do this full time.
Yeah.
What was the thought process leading up to quitting the job, and of course, how did you feel after you decided to deliver that pink slip? Let's go there.
Okay, great. So I've been wanting to quit for years. Obviously,
And
I
what were
know
you doing before, by the way, Tori? I'm
I
sorry.
was working as in operations, but just supporting the scientists and things.
Okay.
But anyway, it was a great job, and I'm so grateful for it. And I think that makes it even harder sometimes when it's stable, you know, good health insurance, and I like my coworkers, I like my boss, and this is not bad. It's good, right? Like,
Yeah.
but I'm not fulfilled. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, and I myself too, is it's like, it's not broken, but I'm not that happy, and this isn't really what I want to be doing. And how long am I going to put off what I really want to be doing to be here? Am
Mm-hmm.
I going to wait until I'm fully successful as a content creator to quit, or am I just going to take the leap? And I just took the leap. Um, and I didn't wait until I was just making the exact same amount at all as a content creator. And
You took the real leap. Huh?
I did. I really did. And so I'm hesitant to, I'm not going to just like recommend that to other people per
Yeah.
se, but that's what I chose to do because I knew that I just wasn't really that happy. And I do put my happiness first. I have put my happiness over stability per se. And then I also will just add that I was able to come back to Cleveland. My family lives here, so I do have support in that sense. Like I can come to this home if I need to and
Mm-hmm.
just group. So that's something that also really helped me. And then after the fact, it was extremely scary. For the first several months, I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? What did I just do? Because
A little bit of regret coming in.
I still
Yeah.
have bills. I still have things I have to pay
Yeah.
for. I'm also not willing to compromise my authenticity, just taking brand deals that I don't like. So I'm like, okay, like what's happening here? It was extremely scary, but I just trusted the process and I kept going. And things definitely have started to get easier over the past couple of months. And I have actually, you know, it's about business, but it's also about creativity. But I have made a good amount of money that I feel happy with at this moment.
You mentioned that you prioritize happiness over stability. Did you have an idea of what that happiness looked or felt like post?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All I've ever wanted in life is to do what I want every day. As simple as that sounds, I just want to have the freedom to do what I want every single day. And that to me is the ultimate richness that you can have. Like I'm choosing what time I wake up. I'm choosing what I do today. If I don't feel well, then maybe I'll just lay in bed and I don't have to like call to anyone or answer to anyone. It's all up to me. It's my choice. And that's really what I wanted. And I have that now. So,
Yeah.
and it really, at first, when it was scary, it took me just realizing like I am living out one of my biggest manifestations ever. Regardless of all the extra details, I don't have to focus on that stuff. At the end of the day, this is something I've always wanted. And I should be grateful for that. And so once I was able to just step into more of a place of gratitude for, okay, maybe the money doesn't look like exactly what I want. Maybe my content's not performing how I want to. This is something that I really wanted. And I can choose to be happy now and embrace it and do my best, or I can just be upset all day. And that was a big turning point for me when I was like, okay, this is a choice. Like, let's work with it. And I think just genuinely having a better mindset around it, things just started rolling so much better.
You ever miss having a day job?
Sometimes I
That
do.
that
There's
check.
good things about it, you know.
Yeah. So I've been on the flip side. I've been on both ends. And one of the challenges and I'm with you, like, I feel like, happiness and doing things that light you up, even if, for creators have day jobs right now, even finding, that space, whether it's having a podcast or you're committed to a YouTube channel or creating content or just whatever hobby it is that lights you up. I think not only creators, but everybody should have a place we call home,
Right.
a place where we find happiness and joy. And the scary part, I remember when I went through it, Tori, when I decided to transition out of my last job and go more towards like a freelance kind of lifestyle business, is like, all right, I have all this time, I get to do it, but the freedom becomes the thing that becomes so challenging. It's like the freedom sounds good, but now it's like, you got what now with the freedom? And that was a big challenge for me because I didn't know how to schedule my time. There was a lot of times where I was just like looking in the same, like, what am I doing? I have all this, but why am I not maximizing and doing what I need to do? So that was a scary part that I felt early on. Curious to know, like, what did that look like after you left your job? Obviously, there was a lot of transitions. How did you get grounded with like, all right, this is going to be my new life. Now what? And then like, how have you managed through managing and navigating through your own time and productivity now?
Yeah. So actually, it's funny that you say that because I did go through that too. It was a challenge first of like, okay,
Now what?
I hit the ground running, and I was just like taking all these different projects and brand deals because I'm like, okay, I have time now, and I burn myself out. I burned myself out. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I'm just so tired. I really just had to start having a better balance between what I was doing and also just like rest and relaxation and restoring things.
Yeah.
Restorative things, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Not working from having better boundaries with myself, I guess I should say. Because I kind of had felt like nothing I was doing was enough because I wasn't seeing results yet. So I kept going and going and going and going. And then it's like, well, that's not, more isn't more. And spending more time doesn't mean success. It doesn't mean results. Not all the time. It's more about like how efficient you are with your time. And a lot of times I think rest and restoration and going out and hanging out with family and friends, those things renew you and renew your creativity and things. So I just really had to learn to have balance. I've really learned that overdoing it is not ever going to get you the result that you think it is.
What do you do now to find that balance? How do you schedule your Tori time with everything else on? Do you have like a structure? Do you have days? Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that.
And I just want to say that too, because, it takes months of like trial and error. And I'm like, okay, this isn't working. This isn't working. But yeah, so I usually wake up every single day around 6:30 or 7. I do my gratitude journaling. That's huge for me. I think it's just the most important thing of my day is just making sure I take in that moment of saying what I'm grateful for and what can I do to make today great. Doing a little affirmation. And then I go work out, which these are things that I really just didn't even feel like I had time for before. I'm like, no, these are really important. I have to schedule these in because they make me a better person. I go work out and then I'll come home and I'll do whatever content stuff I have. And then I make sure I eat lunch. I take my break for that. And then I probably do like a couple more hours of work and then I cut myself off for the day. I don't.
What time is that?
Somewhere between like 3:30 and 5.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I do. because I'm like, I still have to make dinner and I'm just not trying to have this day that feels so full and stressed out. Just for me personally, it's just not sustainable. I end up getting burnt out. So
You mentioned your morning schedule is on point. Like, I mean, I feel like
yes.
I love that you prioritize self first. I think that's something that a lot of people don't do enough or at
Eh,
all.
it's
You know
difficult.
what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And I get it, right? It's like the kids and there's other things. People have different, obligations or whatnot. But I think regardless of your situation, I think prioritizing yourself, no matter if you're a parent or you have a partner or you're solo, prioritizing self is important. So I love that you do that. And wanted to ask you about your content creation. So do you have theme days? I know you're doing a lot of content creation, but how do you go about with balancing creativity and then business and everything else that you got going on as a creator?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have theme days. I think I
Okay.
used to try to do that, but I fully
Didn't
let
work?
no, I didn't.
I
Uh,
tried it too.
like
Guilty.
yeah, posting about things that I didn't really want to post about at that moment. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I really want to follow my authenticity here. I've come this far of following that. Quit the job. I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing what I want. I need to be very intentional about just letting things flow.
Yeah.
And I really think it works well for me. I mean, there are some times where I'll be like, because I know I have lifestyle, I have travel, and I have like well-being type stuff. And I'm like, okay, I haven't posted about something like this in a while. Let me just bring it back in today or whatever the case. But it's very intuitive. I don't really follow any type of schedule as far as what I'm posting about, but I am consistent with posting,
Yeah.
which is like
Where you, I'm sorry, what was that?
I said pretty much every day, at least on TikTok.
Yeah, because you're definitely active on TikTok. And again, we'll make sure that we link it up in the show notes for everybody to follow and support because you're rocking it over there. What about your YouTube journey? When did you start the whole YouTube journey and how's that been? Because I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel.
Thank you. So I just started that in April. Once I quit my job, I was like, okay, we can focus on this more. I would definitely say I do want to put even more effort in it than I have been. It's that long form content, man. It
Yeah.
takes so long to
So,
edit. It's really a lot of
and
work.
listen, so your editing skills are on point because I feel like that was like a big hurdle for me as a creator because I'm not very a techie editing and I try to learn. I was strong, but your editing skills are pretty solid, Tori. I know it takes a long time, but it's
I
solid.
mean, the short form is easy to me. I can do that pretty quickly, but it's that long form. Once it's like hours of footage, and I'm like, oh, brother, this is like,
Tell me about it.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So that is something I'm trying to work on and get more into is like refining that long form content. And I want to have a consistent schedule with it because I know consistency is very important, but I have not been that consistent with my long form. I think I've posted like twice a month at least long form, once or twice a month, but gotta get better at that.
What's been your biggest challenge as a creator?
My biggest challenge, so I think that would be the whole thing with content creation is your success as a creator depends on other people liking you. And I think sometimes it can just be hard not to rely on external validation, whether it's you're doing really well or you're doing really bad. I think I've been able to come to a point where I'm not swayed either way when something's doing really good or when something's
Yeah.
doing poorly because I've had months where I'm like, in 200 view jail and it's like, are you going to let this affect, your performance or how you feel about yourself? And just getting to a point where I'm not allowing these things to sway me one way or another because
Yeah.
I've had to just really learn and stay rooted in the fact that my worth is inherent. It has nothing
Mm.
to do with what I put out, what I do or don't do, and have a real life outside of this, that I value and I love. And that's the most important thing. So, yeah, I think that's been the biggest challenge, just not being so easily swayed by what's happening on the internet.
Yeah. The mindset, right? It's just making sure that it's
Yeah, and I'm stable and steady and not easily rocked. It's hard sometimes.
it
Some
is.
negative comments and things. So it is just like I think the mental piece has been the hardest part.
I think it's a big challenge, especially for creative types, right? We're normally, are very sensitive, individuals,
Totally.
and we, unfortunately, to our um, deficit, we try to seek external validation and we want to be pleasing people. We're people pleasers. And I'm a recovering people pleaser right here,
Yeah.
working on it. And it's tough when you're a creator, and you're right. I would say, I would push back and say, I don't think it's not based off success from other people liking it. Sure. I mean, obviously, if we don't have an audience, your business ain't going to grow. So we definitely need to cultivate the audience. But I love the mindset of switch of saying, hey, I'm going to continue showing up, whether or not people show up or not. And I think that getting past that mental hurdle of being a professional, and what being a professional creator is versus an amateur, is that the professional shows up even on the bad days. And the amateur just, shows up whenever it feels like it. And we're going to get punched, and even the professionals get punched. And I've learned that sometimes not everything is a home run, and it's just, but you just got to, get up and show up,
You live in, you learn, you really truly do learn that those moments where it's like, it's so quiet, they're so necessary.
Yeah.
You're learning so much about yourself, how to be resilient, and also just, kind of what people want to see too. But yeah, I think it can be difficult.
Yeah. What's your goal for as a content creator? Obviously, I feel like, you're doing your thing on TikTok. You have a good following there, and on YouTube, you have a lot of engagement, and people that definitely have really appreciated the content you've been posting on there. I want to see more content, by the way. I want to encourage you, don't give up on YouTube. I feel like the long form, as somebody who likes to, and I think this has a lot to do with me being a podcaster, because a lot what we do as podcast creators is long form. It's long form conversations, it's in-depth, intimate content that people can latch onto. And I know I'm kind of, there's a side note here. I hosted an event, and one of the speakers said something. He said that, people will watch TikTok, but it's like TikTok and they're on to the next. So although it's great for vanity metrics and get the numbers up, and obviously there's people that are crushing it with TikTok Shop and all these other things that are going on TikTok. So no disrespect to that community, but there's something about the YouTuber and podcaster community that they're a lot more diehard loyal because of the long form. Yes, because you develop that relationship with them versus these kind of one-stop shop where you just kind of, you're in and out, you get these licks and you're out, and it's good for the algorithm, but is it really building your brand? And anyways, I just thought about that because I want to get your thoughts on that. Like, what do you think about that as far as your approach?
I agree with you 100%, because when I think about the creators that I have really liked and watched, I definitely feel like I got to know them based off of either lives, like a TikTok live, or like a YouTube or podcast. Just like being able to kind of be in their world or hear them talk more for more than like 60 seconds or something, and super edited. Yeah, I think it builds such a better brand. I would agree with you 100%.
What have you discovered about yourself since starting this creator journey and quitting your job?
What have I discovered about myself? I think I would say this is the thing that I've done the longest in my life. Okay, so, whether it's these 9-to-5 jobs that I've had every 2 years or whatever the case, other projects I've tried, I am a creative, so I've tried a lot of things. This is that I've done the longest, and I think that, it's because I genuinely really like it, and it's really authentic to me, because again, it gets tough sometimes, and like we were talking about before, sometimes it's just you, and I kept wanting to show up regardless. Like I wanted to be here. So what I've learned about myself is I am really resilient, and I'm a hard worker, but it takes the right thing to make me genuinely want to work really hard at it. Because I think when I had these other jobs, I was more of a coaster. Just like,
real talk.
It's like, because
I hear you.
At the end of the day, I could be fired at any minute. So I will do my best, or what you think is my best. I'll get my work done, and I'm going to go out the door. But I really have learned that I genuinely am a hardworking person, and I am super resilient.
If you had to like fast forward to like, let's say 3 to 5 years from now, like, and where I'm going with this, Tori, is like, what is the end goal? What is the ultimate vision for Tori? Obviously you transitioned out, and that was a big goal because you followed your bliss, and now you're doing your thing, and you're creating content, and you're living the lifestyle that you wanted, that you manifested. But what is the ultimate goal? If you had to put yourself in that position, was like, all right, I want to get here where I'm doing this and I'm making this amount of money and, this is the lifestyle. What would that look like? What does that feel like?
Yes. The ultimate goal is definitely for me to be very financially free. So I definitely want to be making millions of dollars. And then I also
Okay.
really am interested.
Millions. You said plural.
But
Millions
and
of
it, and
dollars.
it
Okay.
also, I don't mean to, it doesn't have to be really necessarily all with or because of content creation. I really am into
Yeah.
investing as well. So like
Okay.
when I make money, I do invest a portion of it. I want to just kind of build generational wealth. I've seen, other people do and other generations before me do. That's something that's important to me. But as far as like my community and content creation, I really want to host retreats. That's something
Okay.
that I love to do. And I'm not sure exactly what that looks like yet. I just have a vision. That's a vision of hosting retreats and like bringing people together. Some things I post about are like solo trips, solo vacations a lot. I post
Yeah.
also personal development. So it's like I want to be able to bring people together and even have scholarships where if there's people who can't, afford to come or whatever the case, I just really want to be able to support people to do things and live life in a big, expansive way that maybe they hadn't thought about or hadn't been able to do.
Yeah. I love that. So retreats,
Mm-hmm.
creating content,
Yeah. We're
investing.
going to create the content along the way. Whatever the journey looks like at the moment, that's kind of what I'll be sharing. But yeah, I would love to just be able to give back with retreats and things like that.
Yeah. You didn't mention travel. I'm surprised you didn't mention. I know
Oh,
you're big into
well,
travel.
the retreats will be in like Bali or
Oh, that's
something.
right. Okay. 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 There we go. There we go. Okay. Now we're tied it all in. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You'll go all over the place with that.
That's a huge, important thing to me that I am always doing. But yes,
Yeah.
travel, absolutely.
How are you currently monetizing like everything that you're doing as a content creator? What's the business model currently?
So there is brand deals,
Okay.
affiliate marketing. So whenever I have a product that I really like,
Referral.
I'll just reach out to the brand like, hey, do you guys have a code for me? And I'll talk about it. That works really well for me.
On the brand deals,
Mhm.
Tori, are they reaching out to you? Are you doing direct outreach to them?
They reach
How
out
does
to
this?
me mostly. I
They reach
don't
out to you
that
through
much.
TikTok, or where are they finding you?
I have my email in my TikTok bio. I also have it in
Okay.
my YouTube bio. So they'll just usually reach out to me that way.
Okay.
hmm So it's through that. I also have a digital product that I've been selling. It is a budget tracker. So, and I don't know if you know this, I do have two TikTok accounts. I'm not sure if were aware that I
Didn't
have
know that.
my personal,
No.
okay, it's like lifestyle and the travel. That's probably the one you saw. And then I have another one that
Yeah.
is more just like solely focused on personal development. And I don't know which one you saw, but on the one that I focus on personal development more so, I have a budget tracker that I sell, and I also have a card deck. Do I have it over here with me? I do have it.
Oh, the
Um,
card deck. Yes. Yes. I think.
yeah,
I saw
I
that on
will
one of the
post
videos.
everything. So I've been
Yep.
selling that. So I think just having multiple streams of income is just the key. Multiple different ways to make make extra money. But also, all of this stuff is things that I genuinely really like and care about. So whenever I have an idea, I kind of will just jump on it.
Yeah. You have a good following on TikTok. I mean, you don't. You're under 100 or under 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I think one of the things that I was really enamored about you is that here you are, an indie creator, not with a massive audience. You're building your audience, and you transitioned. And now I'm just chopping it up with you. You're doing it like you understand early on, like, hey, I'm gonna serve my community. You got product already. Like that's something I've been like breaking my. I was like, I know I have product. I know there's something there I can do for my creators, and I haven't done that. So I feel like you're doing all the right things early on, and you're setting yourself up for that next level. Where does that come from? Did you like as far as products and brand deals? I mean, such a small account, but you have a very massive business approach to that. Where does that come from?
That's a good question. So I have ideas and then I don't know how I'm going to get them into reality sometimes. And I just like keep going for the next best step. The deck came before TikTok.
Okay.
I didn't have a following at all. I wasn't even on TikTok. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna sell this thing, but it just kept, I wanted to do it. And I figured out how to create a deck and found a manufacturer. And I was like, okay, now I have 300 of these. Now what?
Now I got
And so
I got to
again,
create content for it.
my approach is not, I don't know if this is the best way to do things, but that's kind of what I did. And then I got on TikTok and I was like, I knew I would find a way to start bringing it in. And I didn't start out, you know, talking about that at all. I just was talking about things I was genuinely wanting to discuss in the personal
Okay.
development world. And then, at some point I had enough. Then TikTok Shop came along and I was like, oh, I can put it on TikTok Shop. There we go. So yeah, it just kind of, I follow my intuition and then the next best steps along the way. And I was saying, I've talked about finance on my account. And then a lot of people were like, oh my God, what are you using to budget? And I'm like, okay, budget tracker. Cool. Now I have that. So it just kind of, I've just been following what happens.
See, hold on, real quick. There's gems there, Tori, that I want to unpack right there for our watchers and listeners out there. Is that, following your intuition, stop overthinking it, just take action, listen to your market. So Tori, what I'm hearing from you is like, all right, I felt this deck and I created that. I didn't know how to do it. You made it happen. You didn't overthink it. Again, you just followed your feeling, right? Your intuition. You made it happen. And now it's positioned, now that you're creating content, that you're selling units. And then what I heard next is you were talking about, I guess, finance or something, and the market said, hey, what about the budget tracker, right? And you put it together. And then there's a budget, there's another product that you can sell. So it's like listening to the market, of what they want, and then giving it to them. Did I miss
Absolutely.
anything? Is that it?
No, yeah. I'm open. I'm open. I'm receptive and I see opportunity.
All right. So as we land the plane, Tori, because I know we have some technical difficulties, but I want to land the plane here. If there are any, if you can give 3 self-care tips, because I feel like this episode is going to be tailored to helping creators just with lifestyle practices, because I think this is such a mindful conversation that we have here. You provided a lot of insight in regards to somebody who's transitioned from a day job to being a full-time content creator. Share with us like 3 self-care tips that all content creators should embrace today.
3 self-care tips. I would say definitely follow your authenticity, whatever that looks like for you. Definitely follow your authenticity first. The next thing I would say is don't be afraid to take rest, do what you need to do for you, because I know it sounds counterintuitive in the society that we live in, but that is what's going to restore you the most, is when you take those moments for yourself, because you never know what like creative idea you're going to get once you give yourself the space and the fuel and kind of get off the hamster wheel. Once you give yourself that space, you don't know what idea you're going to have that's going to be the one thing that's going to, get you where you want to go. And I can speak for that 12-week year video that you found, which was my best performing video ever. It was in one of those moments where I was like, okay, I just need to take a breather, just be in my sovereignty and just relax. And there we go. So I think that would be another thing. And then a third self-care tip: prioritize yourself first. Prioritize yourself first.
Love it. That's the way we land the plane here on Creator to Creator. Well, Tori, it's been a little slice of heaven, my friends, and I just want to celebrate and honor you for your bravery, for taking the leap of faith, for figuring things out, for following your intuition, for following your bliss, and serving your community. And I'm glad and honored that to call your friend, and also that you said yes. I was just I'm going to shoot my shot. You never know, because people get pitched all. I'm sure you get pitched all the time. I get pitched for people to be on the show, and most of the time, 98% of the time, I say no. So I knew there was a little chance that I might get the little rejection letter, but I didn't, and you said yes. So I just want to thank you for just saying yes, for being on there. And I feel like a lot of content creators who are watching, listening, will get a lot of value from this conversation, simply because as we are creators that are building businesses, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of mess, There's a lot of ups and downs. It's important to talk about self-care and mindset and being more of a mindful creator, especially with so much going on and responsibilities for a content creator, right? That shifted. And I think we need to have more conversations like this. So thank you, my friend, for being my dance partner today. I appreciate you.
So I'm so glad and happy to have this conversation. It's something I really wanted to do, and I love trying new things and putting myself in spaces like this. This is a growth opportunity for me, so I'm happy to do it.
Awesome. Love it. I'll make sure that I link it up in the show notes, y'all. Go ahead and check it out on TikTok. We'll have Tori's links, Amazon for the deck, and on Instagram, and of course, the YouTube channel. Check out the YouTube channel. I promise you, you will go down the rabbit hole because Tori's vibe is very chill, calming, and she speaks very well, and the edits are dope, and you'll enjoy it. It'll put you in a very zen-like mindset. I promise you, you're going to enjoy it. So I'll make sure that I link it up and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so we can grow and we can kind of nudge Tori to start doing more YouTube content. All right, y'all. Thank you guys for tuning in. And Tori, we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Peace.